What are foreign and domestic entities? No. A foreign entity is not one that speaks a language you don't know, nor is a domestic entity one that needs to be house-trained. A foreign entity isn't even from another country, but is simply an entity formed in another state, whether a corporation or otherwise. It should not be confused with an offshore entity, which is formed in another country. A domestic entity is an entity formed within its state of residence. For example, a corporation formed in New York is a domestic corporation to New York, but it's a foreign corporation in the eyes of Tennessee, Utah, Delaware, or any other state. Now, as far as offshore business entities go, we'll not discuss them here, so don't be distracted by them. But business owners sometimes find it useful and often necessary to do business in other states with their entity. So keep in mind, when you do business in another state, that state will treat your entity as a foreign entity. This applies to all limited liability businesses, whether they're corporations, LLCs, limited partnerships, etc. Unfortunately, not every state treats every limited liability entity the same, nor do all states acknowledge all entities. That would be too easy. So we have to speak in generalities at this point. If you keep these basic concepts in mind, however, you should have no problem. Now, if you intend to do business in a state other than the one in which you formed your domestic entity, you'll find your entity subject to that other state's laws, which means you'll need to register to do business in that state and agree to comply with all of that state's business regulations. So in overview, a business entity is considered something of a domestic citizen of the state where it was formed, but a foreign resident of all other states in which it legally does business.